We live in a culture where bigger is better, right? Everything's bigger, you know. Bigger TV is better than a small TV. That's why when these like Avengers movies come out, we go to the big screen. You know, you can't watch it, you can't wait for it to come on DSTV. You got to go watch it on the big screen. Bigger bank balance is better than a small one. Yes? And that's true, right? It's true in so many areas. But the problem is, because we're so focused on the big stuff, that we start to hate the small. We start to, like when we think of the word small, we think inadequate. We think weak. We think insufficient. So when I say something small, you're like, think about the events that people go to. It's the big events. If I hear about this little thing I don't know about, I'm not going. I'm not going to go to that small thing, because we attribute small things and smallness with weakness and failure and all those things. That's how we attribute things. So today I want to talk about, every now and then we do conversation about vision, goals, dreams. And tonight I want to talk about that, but I want to talk about big dreams and low bars. How many of you here have a dream, vision, or a goal that you're working to or towards right now in your life? Raise your hand for me. All right, raise your hand, raise your hand. If you don't have one, it's okay. But you all raised your hand pretty much. Excellent. That's great. What if I told you to get to that dream, you must lower the bar? How does that feel? How does it make you feel? You're like, this guy is talking nonsense to me. This guy, obviously we've got to work hard. Obviously we've got to aim high, because that's what we've been taught our whole lives, right? And by the way, that's true. You have to work hard. You have to dream big. You have to have a big picture to work towards to get there in the first place. But what if I told you that a big dream must be accompanied by low bars to achieve that dream? Now you might be like, no ways, that's a contradiction. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it together today. So, I've seen people, big dreams, sometimes even God-given dreams, God-given goals, and they talk about it and they're working towards it and they still fail to get it. But it's God-given. Or it's very big and they fail to get there. And I asked God, I was like, why is this happening? Why is this consistently happening? Because you have so many stories about people who have these big dreams, big goals, and then somewhere down the line, they don't get there. And I realized that the failure isn't in the bigger picture, the vision that they hold. The failure is in the day-to-day journey to get there. And that's what I want to talk about today. Let me give you a real-life scenario just to paint a picture for you. One of these guys, this person came to me, he said, I want to grow in my relationship with God. He had a goal. He said, I want to grow in my relationship with God. I want to develop such intimacy with Him that I understand His heart. I develop His heart in me. I want to have that kind of close walk with God. So he said, please can we meet and we'll chat about it. So I was like, yeah, cool. I don't have all the answers, but yes, we can chat about it and see what happens. So he came to me, and I said to him, tell me specifically, what do you want, Joe? And he said the same thing. I want an intimate relationship with God. I want to walk with Him so closely that I can recognize when He's moving. What breaks His heart breaks my heart. That kind of thing. It was a wonderful goal that he had. And then I was like, okay, cool, that's not a problem. What do you think you need to do to introduce into your life to achieve that? That's what I said to him. And then he said, well, I need to have a consistent prayer life. I need to spend more time with God in the Word, in worship, in prayer. And I was like, yeah, that's true, right? Do you agree? That's true. That's going to make a difference in the life. So I said to him, okay, how are you going to achieve this? You've told me this, how are you going to do it? And he said, okay, here's my plan. Every day, I'm going to get up 30 minutes earlier than I normally do. 30 minutes, right? And in those 30 minutes, I'm going to worship God. I'm going to pray. I'm going to seek God. I'm going to be in the Word. 30 minutes. Every day. So I was like, cool. And he said, also, I'm going to come to the collective every single Wednesday and church every single Sunday. So now that's 8 services in a month. So I'm like, okay, cool. By the way, those things are going to make a difference. Definitely going to make a difference. Then I said to him, I just need to confirm what he said. So I said, okay, you're going to get up every day, every morning, and for 30 minutes you're going to seek God, pray, worship, read the Bible. He said, yes. I said, okay, every week you're going to be at the collective in church. Every week. He's like, yes. I was like, okay, cool. Now, overall, that's a good plan. Vision's good. He's lined up the plan. Everything's cool. So about a month later, I phoned him and I was like, let's meet up. Let's chat about how your progress is going. And he told me such a sad story. He said, to be honest with you, I haven't been able to maintain getting up at this time every day. He says, when I do wake up, I'm not focused. Sometimes I oversleep. Sometimes I get up, I start praying, I fall back asleep. Sometimes I don't even get up. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I'm not going to do it. And he's like, oh, by the way, I haven't been at the collective at all. He's like, you know why? Work's hectic. I get home, I'm tired. I need a rest. I'm like, cool. No problem. You don't have to explain yourself. It's all good. And then church on Sunday, he's like, no, I came like twice last night. I'm like, oh, all good. Now, there's many reasons that this person could be in that situation. Okay? Let's talk about some. Ill discipline. Right? That could be a reason. Lack of priority. You know when people say, oh, I don't have time? It's not true. There's no such thing. It just means that this thing is not a priority to me. Right? That's what that means. So, but we're not talking about priorities tonight. We're not talking about that. And sometimes it's just, I need to manage my schedule better. But I don't want to talk about any of those things today. I want to talk about you have a dream, you've put a plan in place, your intentions are all right to do it, but it's still you coming short. And this person's heart was broken. He said, man, I need you to pray for me. He thought the devil was attacking him. He says, I need you to pray against this. And I was like, okay, we'll do that. And I did pray for him. And it's such a disappointing time for him because he has this goal, he set these plans, and he couldn't follow through. And then he felt like the dream, he doesn't deserve this goal, this dream. He feels like it's too big. Maybe I set a dream too big to achieve. And what I discovered is that, before I tell you the pattern that I see, let me tell you the first part of the problem. The first part of the problem is, so often, where we are right now and where we want to be, that gap is bigger than we anticipated. Where I am right now and where I want to be, that gap is bigger than I ever thought it was. See, I thought, okay, I'm just do a few things, I'm going to get there, but actually the gap is very big, bigger than I anticipated. It's part of the problem. Some information I didn't give you before is when he said to me, he's going to get up 30 minutes early every day, read the Bible every day for 30 minutes. I said to him, currently, how much do you read the Bible? How many days a week do you read the Bible? He said to me, once, maybe twice, maybe once every 2 weeks. I was like, okay, not a problem. See, if you said to me, I'm reading it once a week, and now I'm going to read it twice a week, that's okay. Now you're saying, I'm reading it once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks for like 10, 15 minutes, and now I'm going to go 7 days a week for 30 minutes. The bit of more than you could chew. See, it's too big. Now, by the way, his goal is not bad. The plan is not bad. That's not the problem. Then I said to him, okay, you're only coming to church, let's say twice a month. Now you want to come 8 times to different services. And by the way, that didn't improve. He's still coming about 2 times. And again, it's not that he's adding one service. It's just too big. And here's the pattern I want to share with you. The problem isn't that our goals are too big, because they should be big, right? Our goals are big. But let me show you the pattern before I even carry on. We have big dreams, big vision, big goals. So what automatically do we think? Okay, now I need big plans so I can reach my big goals. And then I'm like, okay, my daily routine, I need big daily routine to reach my big plans, to reach my big goals. How am I going to keep motivated? I need to have big expectations for those big daily routines, for my big plan, for my big goals. And then what happens is when we get into it, it overwhelms us. We lose hope in this thing. We become inconsistent, we lose the desire, and then we eventually give up. But the problem is we didn't give up on our plan, we give up on the dream. But the dream isn't the problem. The problem is that my plan to get there is too big, too quickly. My plan to get to this thing is too big, too quickly. So think about New Year's resolutions. Think about the size of people's New Year's resolutions. It's not like, I'm going to read one book this year. I've never read a book. I'm going to read one book this year. It's never like that. I'm reading 20 books this year. What happens by June? Don't even talk about that thing anymore. What has happened? The goal is fine. 20 books is not impossible. The goal's fine. It's just too big too quickly. Right? Fitness goals. I'm going to go to gym. Every day, 2 hours, I'm going to be in the gym. I hear that all the time. I'm going to eat healthy. No more chocolate, no more sweets. By June, nothing has changed. Why? The goal's not impossible. It's just that they put themselves under too much pressure too quickly. And then it overwhelms them, and then they give up. So I'm talking to you today about big dreams, but lower the bar. And people say, surely that means I must settle. If you're saying lower the bar, you're saying I must settle, you must say I must be mediocre. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying have your big dream, have the big goal, have the big vision for your life. But set the bar reasonably low enough that you can achieve it on this level. And when you get there, raise it a bit more and then achieve it on that level. And then raise it a bit more and achieve it on that level. When I say lower the bar, I'm not saying lower the bar lower than you are right now. That doesn't make sense. I'm saying still aim higher than where you are, but just in touch that you can still get there. Why? Because then when I get there, I'm like, I can tick it. Yes. Achievement. Small goal. Small achievement. But the problem is we look at small and we're like, it's insignificant. Small doesn't mean anything. Small goes unnoticed. No one's going to notice my small changes. And that's probably true. But small changes, consistent changes for a year, and you're going to be at a different level next year in any area. Let's say you want to write a book. And you're like, cool, I'm going to write a 300-page book. And right now you just start going. You lose motivation, you lose inspiration, whatever. So you kind of go to like 80 pages and then you struggle for the rest of the year. And at the end of the year you have like 100 pages because it's up and off, right? Imagine if you broke that goal down into a lower bar and you say, I'm going to write 1 page every day. Just 1 full page. And I do that every day. By the end of the year, I have a book 365 pages long. See, making things bite-sized and small and achievable. By the way, this is so obvious. You know those things that are so obvious, you're like, we don't get it. It's so obvious, we don't get it. And I want to talk about this because I've never actually heard people talk about goals this way. They always say, aim high, aim for the star. You know that thing, aim for the moon. If you miss, you'll land among the stars. You know that stuff, that cliche stuff. But the reality is, my dream must be big. Something must be big to pull me towards it. But me getting there, I have to be realistic with my approach. I must have a plan. But my steps must be small, incremental steps. All of our life is small, incremental. You grew small, slowly, step by step, moment by moment. On your way working towards your promotion in your life, what is actually happening? You're not like, cool, I'm coming to work this day. Next week, I'm going to get promoted. Why doesn't that happen? Unless you know someone, right? But otherwise, that doesn't happen. Why doesn't that happen? Because, and by the way, how do you get promoted? I've got to put in thousands of moments of excellence, moments of doing the right thing, moments of being excellent, being on time, being excellent in all that I do, hardworking, having the right attitude. And there's thousands of little moments that no one sees that leads me to my promotion, that leads me to my success. When you're studying your degrees, you didn't get it. 4 years, you waited 4 years. Small, slow, little increments. I had to do this module, and if I didn't get the module, what happens? I have to redo the module. Pay again, redo the module. So it's small, incremental steps. How do we get to anything in life? Small, incremental steps. Here's the problem. I say my dream is so big. My plans have to be big to cover the big gap. So I'm like, that's how we get there. If my dream is big, my plan has to be big so that I can get there quicker. That's not how life works. When has that worked? It's always been slow, incremental growth in every area of your life. So let's go back to this example I spoke about with this guy. The best thing for him to have done would have said, you know what, I'm going to commit every Monday morning. Every Monday morning, 30 minutes. I'm going to give God quality, focused 30 minutes. I'm going to seek God, I'm going to worship, I'm going to do all those things 30 minutes on a Monday. I'm not going to make anything else because it's too much for me right now with my schedule, with my habits, etc. So I'm just going to give him 30 minutes. And then what happens is I get that down and I do it well. And then I can add another day. And then I can add another day. And then all of a sudden, I'm communing with God every single day, getting revelation, seeing Him, hearing from Him all the time. I recognize His heart. But that begins with one small step, one small commitment. That's how it works. Everyone say, lower the bar. Setting the bar low, by the way, I'm saying setting the bar reasonably low is linked to humility. Let me show you why. Do you know when I look at my goals, whatever they are, and then I'm humble about it, I realize I'm human. I realize that I've got stuff that is standing in my way of achieving that goal, and I have to deal with things. It means that I realize that I've got bad habits I have to rectify to get to where I want to get. It's humbling to even admit that, you know what, I'm not ready for the dream that I have in my heart. People don't want to say that. Some people find that so difficult. You know, it's difficult for me to say, I want this thing so badly, but if it comes, it's going to crush me. If that thing comes, I'm not going to be able to handle it. If that thing comes, I'm going to mess it up. Why? Because I haven't given myself time to expand, to grow, to be able to hold the capacity of the dream that I have. So God's saying, cool, I'll expand you. You know, like when you blow up a balloon. You blow it up quickly, what happens? It pops. So what happens instead? I've got to put slow, gradual airflow to grow it. It's like what happens in our lives, in any area of our lives. You do have to work hard. You do have to be excellent. You do have to set the bar high in so many areas. But in your journey, set the bar reasonably low so that you can achieve it. Victory, small win, quick win, next one. And that can be daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. I find that the problem isn't the vision. I've never heard a vision that's too big. But I've seen plans too big too quickly. So often. Too big too quickly. I want you to think about your life and what you've gone through and you'll see that even though we despise the small things in this culture, in our society, the small things compounded always lead to the bigger things, always prepare us for the bigger things. When you're dating someone, okay, let me paint a picture. I meet Gisette. Let me use my wife. I meet Gisette, right? Today I meet her. I propose to her. Tomorrow we get married Friday. What do you think? That's great, isn't it? Why doesn't that make sense? Man, that gap is too big too quick. It's too big too quick. I don't know her. She doesn't know me. I haven't earned trust, anything. How does it work instead? I've got to put hours of trust and faith building and love and kindness and all communication. I've got to do that for a long time. Every time you hear about someone getting married, you know him for how long? 3 months. Everyone's like, they don't say anything. But everyone's like, we're too polite as society. And generally what happens to those marriages, not all of them, but what happens to most of them? It doesn't work. Why? Because I've jumped into this big thing and I'm still small. I'm not ready. And that's what our life is like. And you can compare this to your financial situation, to your careers, to your love lives, to your marriage one day. Everything. Small incremental increases. Compounded gets the vision and the goal that we're trying to get to today. I want to just read you 2 scriptures. And the first one is Exodus 23, 29 to 30. God promises the Israelites the promised land. He says, I'm going to give you a land flowing with milk and honey. But then he says to them, but I will not drive out the people who are living there, because there was already people there, in a single year. He says, because if I do that, the land will become desolate, and the wild animals too numerous for you. In other words, it's going to get dangerous. Little by little, I will drive them out before you until you have increased enough to take possession of it. Everyone say, increased enough. I found in my life that whenever I had grown or increased to the size I needed to in any area, God would fill me in that area. It was never like, I'm like, God, you delayed. Why are you delaying me? Why am I waiting? We sang a song, it's in the waiting. And it's like, and I've just learned in my life, is God's like, as soon as you're capable, as soon as your capacity can hold it, I'm going to give it to you. When that happens, I'm going to give it to you. I'm not trying to make you wait for nothing. He's like, when your capacity is ready, I'm going to fill you. It's that simple. So I find that the delays in my life often is me not having the capacity to receive what God has for me. But as soon as we're ready, He gives it to us. And the other scripture, Zechariah 4:10, it says, do not despise these small beginnings. For the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. It feels like you're taking time to get to this place in your goals, in your vision, in your career, whatever. But God is saying, start small, because that's normal. And then each level, you increase. And the intensity increases, and the volume increases, and the duration increases. And eventually, you can start setting goals that are a little bit bigger than the lower bars. And then you start going. But it's small, and ask anyone who studied masters. Ask them. It's taken long. It's taken a lot of work, and they've had to reach, I got to do this assignment. I got to do this many pages for my dissertation a day, or whatever. I've got to break it down into smaller, incremental steps to achieve this.